might think that a team that spent around £200 in signings for this new campaign might perform in a way nobody else should perform because of all the money, all the budget, all the signings, and all the great players they have into the squad. That's not exactly been the case, has it, for Liverpool's. They've been bad, they've been poor, they've been from bad to worse throughout the season, and they're actually not beating PSG out of the competition, out of Champions League. There's no chance that knocking PSG out of the competition. There's a simple explanation for it. Liverpool is not a better team at the moment. Liverpool couldn't make their way against Brighton. Liverpool couldn't win against Brighton today, so they're bad enough. Today they're bad enough at the moment. So after getting Kerkez, after getting Isak, after getting Florian Wirtz, after getting so many great players, Liverpool went ahead and brought Frimpong into the squad. And for what? Because he hasn't been exactly the right back Liverpool needs. Same thing goes with Wirtz. Liverpool made a couple signings, strategic signings at the beginning of the campaign, thinking they were gonna be a better and stronger team. Doesn't turn out to be the case. That wasn't the case at all. Now, this is the part of football that I don't quite understand. I mean, how do you actually explain like a team with so much budget, so much money as Liverpool has? They're not performing at the level they're supposed to be performing every single season. Especially when these teams won Premier League last season. So they're supposed to be better or right there on top of the other teams, playing on top, fighting for this Premier League. And let's face it, Liverpool, they're pretty much a mess at the moment. They need to figure out a way to stay in Champions League for the next season, because if they actually draw or lose a couple games by the end of the campaign, they're out of Champions League, and that is going to be bad. That is going to be bad business for Liverpool. It's going to be a disaster for a team that just won the Premier League. I mean, are you seriously telling me that you can't keep up with the other team? You're seriously telling me that you can't keep quality at the level that you're supposed to be, what the level that the Premier League requires to be in order for you to be a contender for the race, for the Premier League race? That's, well, maybe if you're Brighton, that might be the case, that might be an excuse, but you're actually Liverpool and you just lost Brighton today, and that game was horrible. That game was seriously bad. That was dreadful to see. Liverpool lost something. Don't exactly know what it is, but Liverpool lost something. Maybe it was there's like a disconnection right now between players and the coach, and the players and the coach is not just getting his messages across to the players, because this is all about the coach. Let's face it, Barcelona had this problem when Xavi was coaching Barcelona. Then Hansi Flick came in and turned things around. So there's gotta be a misunderstanding between players and coaches and a new situation, because there's a part where players took some of the blame. I think Gakpo hasn't been at the level that he's supposed to be, or the level that any player is supposed to be for a team like Liverpool. Gakpo hasn't been that player. Frimpong hasn't been the right back Liverpool needs. He just hasn't been that player. Wirtz, I think he's homesick at the moment, and he still is. And you got this weird situation with all these different players that you don't actually know how to compile or make a compilation out of it, because there's something going on, something weird going on. It can't be about the players because you got great players. It's gotta be something in between, something that is just not working between players and the coach. It's gotta be something like that. But Liverpool needs to stay focused, and they can't keep their eyes off the ball right now. If they lose a couple games, if they I'm not even talking about losing. If they draw a couple games from here to the end of the campaign, it's gonna be a mess. like a humiliating mess for Liverpool because they shouldn't be out of the Champions League. Not with the amount of signing they did. They spent like £200 in signings for this new campaign, and that's just unacceptable the way Liverpool is playing. There's gotta be a misjudge, there's gotta be some miscommunication between players and the coach. That's I'm not saying that's the case, I'm not saying that is exactly the case, but there's something going on there, and there's gotta be in one of those two examples. Otherwise, how do you explain what's going on with Liverpool at the moment? You know, they can forget about. I mean, yeah, they won 4-0 against Galatasaray the other day, but they're not knocking PSG out of the competition because they're not a better team. They simply aren't. They need to focus on the Premier League. I think Liverpool as well is waiting for the end of the campaign, so they bring Xabi Alonso. I guess when it comes to coaches and new signings and new players and basically signings overall, it's hard to pretend we all know what's going to happen, because in football you don't know until you know. This is not basketball. This is not the other sports where you just find out. You know what I mean? In football, it's not exactly the case. You find out when the news came out, and you sort of react to the news and say, okay, this is a new player for this team, this is a new coach for this team. It's sort of how it goes in football. We can actually say, for sure that Xabi Alonso is going to be the next Liverpool's manager. But it's probably the case because that's a rumor. That's how football just goes about. It's about rumors when it comes to signings. So it might be the case where Xabi Alonso is the next Liverpool's manager for the next season. Don't know exactly how much of a difference he can do in this team, how much of an impact he can bring into Liverpool. So because especially you're replacing Jurgen Klopp, and Jurgen Klopp was a massive top-notch, high-end coach. He was brilliant, he was excellent, he was a top-notch coach. So it's hard to replace something like that. It's like replacing a superstar in any team. You know what I mean? It's just a hard thing to do. But it's not an impossible thing to do. A new coach might as well come in and do better than the other coaches. Do way better than the previous one. It might be the case for Xabi Alonso because he definitely got the support of the people, and sometimes in football that plays a massive role. You can argue that was the case when he went into Real Madrid. So that wasn't exactly coaching, but that was what happened. I mean, people were asking for that manager, for that person to be their manager. Sometimes in football this happens, but at the moment I think this is a mess for Liverpool. This is just unacceptable for a team like Liverpool because they got a massive squad. They got probably one of the best squads in planet football at the moment. They do have that. They do have it. They do got something like that. All their players are special. You just need to make them work. You just need to figure out a system where all those players play their better football, which hasn't been the case, hasn't for Newcastle, neither for the players, nor for the coach, nor for the club itself. So something is just not working here. New coach, and that's a coach's job. The coach needs to figure it out a way until the team is just working. And that's it. I mean, football is easy. So sometimes it's not, but most of the time you just need to figure it out and find the right pieces. If you need to bench some of those players in order for the team to work out and get the results, especially the performance, because performance-wise Liverpool hasn't been exactly great. They're rambling throughout. I mean, the first leg against Galatasaray, that was shambles. Well, they won 4-0 at the second leg, but that hasn't been enough, has it? For a team like this, they're not beaten because let's face it, they're gonna face one of the hardest teams. They're facing PSG, and that's gonna be a hard job for any team to take in. They're not the better team at the moment. They're not better than PSG. They need to figure out many things if they want to keep themselves into the Champions League for the next season. Let's see what the new coach might bring into the team. So Liverpool is just waiting for the end of the campaign, so a different coach can come in. Might be Xabi Alonso, might be someone else, but somebody's coming for the next season. That's for sure. Liverpool, somebody's coming for the next season. That's for sure. They're just throwing darts into the wall. So in waiting to see something actually sticks, but nothing is working for them at the moment. There's gotta be a massive misjudge, coaching wise and player wise at the moment right now at Liverpool. So a new coach is gonna come in, that's for sure, and that's going to happen next season. And Liverpool right now are just 5th into the competition. Liverpool right now are 5th in the competition. There's a high chance they might get out of the Champions League for the next season if they keep performing the way they've been doing it all these last games. If you take a look at what happened in the last 5 previous Liverpool's game, they hasn't been great. They're not playing good enough. They're not playing even good at the moment. They're rambling, and they need to figure out a way to turn this around if they want to keep themselves into Champions League for the next season.